Hi, and welcome to another Harry's Hobbies video. And we are continuing construction with the Big Diz boats and bathhouse from Mud Creek Models. And what I'm going to be running through in this particular video is, as you can see, this big bright pink sheet that I have here. Now I've already marked out a spot where I want to mount the model itself. And I've done that with the blue Sharpie. And then I have it, you can see I've got the little squiggly lines here and up towards this part of the model as well. And I've got door and door, so I know which way I'm going to orient so I don't screw things up and do it backwards. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go over and make this roughed up, and I think I'm even going to do something along these lines. Get the blue Sharpie out again, and actually most of this side will be water, and then I think that most of this side will also be water. And how I go about doing this is it's quite a simple process. Since this is styrofoam, I just use a very hot soldering iron, and I go in and melt it, and this is the 3/4 inch thick stuff, so I can go down rather deep. And I'm going to make this, and then there will be painting tricks that I'll go over that will actually show how I make this water look a lot deeper than what it actually is. So I think we'll do that in the next video. When I come back, we'll have that, at least that part of it, completed, and then we'll go through the painting process. So hope you enjoyed this part one, and thanks for watching. And welcome back to more on the Big Diz Boats and Bathhouse by Mud Creek Models that I'm working on getting the base started. And what I did was I went over and used a soldering iron and melted the smoothness down for a number of reasons. So it'll grab the paint and to give it some texture and some other thing. And that'll come about as I go along, but let me get this up to the camera a little closer so you can see how it melted it. The good thing is I took a picture, and that'll be in the slideshow after this. But what I do is I start with a very, very dark color. And in this case, this is a Deco Art Midnight Blue, I think it's called Deep Midnight Blue. And frankly, I start and just get very generous when you start with the paint in here, because this is the base coat. And you want it a lot deeper. And then I just get this in here quite liberally. And there's something wrong with this paint, but I'm going to make it work. Because this is going to be covered up with other coats of different shades of blues, greens, yellows, a little bit of everything will be added, seemingly a little bit of everything, and that will help to give the fake water, because what I'll do is I'll pour a clear acrylic into here, and that's a 2-part mix that I use for the water coats. So let me get going on this. All right, and there we have the first base coat of dark, very dark blue. And again, I'll take a picture of this as we go along so you can see how the different shading is going to work and how this is going to come into play with getting it to appear as though it's deeper than what it actually is. So hope you enjoyed this part 2 of working on the base, and there'll be more to come. So once again, thanks for watching. Hi, and welcome back to part 3 of working on the base. And the main dark blue base coat is dry. And then I'll be going to use a variety of different shades of blue from this point on. I've got navy blue. Here's one called Ocean Breeze, Island Blue, Cobalt Blue, and this is just Midnight Sapphire. And what I'll be doing is start with the darker shades, like the navy blue, and I'll be using a stiffer brush because a lot of this is going to be poking and dry brushing to get the shades that I want and to get them to that coming up to the lighter colors. And this is where it's called force perspective comes into play, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to fool your eyes into thinking that the water that you see is a lot deeper than what it actually is, because the reality is this is only going to be at the most a ½ inch deep, and at the least like maybe an 1/8 anyway. So by using these, the different blues, and I'll even be throwing in some greens, but you always want to start with the darker colors first, as those are the ones that are would be further under in the real world. And I had a little bit of a clog here. I'm undoing that real quick. Before I can get started. And again, I'm using water-based paints that are mostly available at Walmart, Hobby Lobby, any place that carries any sort of craft supplies. And there we go. Got a little bit coming out. It just does not want to cooperate. Now we'll go in here and we'll find out why. Ah, there we go. That's why. It's being a bit of a murky mess in here. I'm going to take a little bit of water and add some into there. And get it mixed up again. And then once I get started on this, I'll be using, I'll be going back over again while the paint is still mostly wet. So and here we go. And there we have the initial colors for the water in place. And I'll let this get good and dry. And before I proceed and continue to move on. And I'll add some different little bit of plant life in here. Some weeds. And some stuff that sticks up out of the water. And I actually put a small dock on the little bit in here. So, hope you enjoyed this. And once again, thanks for watching.